This is Michael Woodward, and this is Season 2, Episode 70 of the JumbleThink podcast.
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to the JumbleThink podcast, where we interview leading entrepreneurs about their journey of turning ideas and dreams into reality. Along the way, they'll share tips on how you can turn your ideas and dreams into reality too. Today on the podcast, we're talking about being a holistic entrepreneur. It's going to be a lot of fun. If you haven't already, I want to encourage you, wherever you like to listen to your podcast, head on over and click that subscribe button. And if you like listening on iTunes or Spotify, we've made it even easier. All you have to do is go to jumblethink.com/iTunes or jumblethink.com/Spotify. It'll take you right to the app where you can click subscribe. While you're there, why don't you leave us a rating and review? It helps others know about this podcast, what you love about it, and how it's impacted your life. So go ahead on over and subscribe to the JumbleThink podcast. Now let's dive into today's episode. Hey there, welcome to the JumbleThink podcast. My name is Michael Woodward. I am your host and super excited about today's episode. We're talking about the holistic entrepreneur. We're going to get into what that means in a moment. Before we do that, we want to thank today's sponsor, Opportunity in China. Have you been looking for a way to change your career or social prospects? Do you see the world around you is changing and you haven't quite figured out what path to take? You're not alone in seeking opportunity. Visit opportunityinchina.com for access to scholarships to attend university in China. Or, if you have a bachelor's degree already, opportunityinchina.com provides access to jobs in the education sector all across China. Working in China is not only well paid, but it will place you among 1/5 of the world's population, boosting your social network, bringing you more deeply into the story of globalization, and opening doors you never knew existed. So seize your opportunity now. Go and visit their website for more information at opportunityinchina.com. By the way, they have an incredible podcast. It tells the stories of working and teaching and learning abroad. All you have to do is go to your favorite place to listen to podcasts, search for Opportunity in China, and click play. If you want to connect more with them, swing on over opportunityinchina.com and start the conversation. Okay, so today we are talking about what I call the holistic entrepreneur. I don't know where this term came from. I don't think I coined it. I don't know if I've heard it somewhere, but that's what we're calling it today. Where does this come from? Last week we were talking about building communities for dreams and ideas. And I said, we're going to make this a multi-week topic. And so it seems like a pretty big pivot coming out of that to talk about holistic entrepreneurship. But being a holistic entrepreneur really feeds into building a culture that cultivates dreams and ideas. So I really thought that this would be a good launching place for going deeper into this place of community and how we build community. Because if you want to build community, you really have to start with you. You can't build community without you knowing you being you, and being holistic is so significant. Now, where does this conversation all start? Well, earlier today, I was interviewing a good friend from a recent summit that I met. His name is Joseph Warren. He's doing really cool stuff. You're going to be able to check out his episode in the middle of October. It's going to be a lot of fun. So make sure you stay tuned for that. But we were talking about faith journey and business and how we segment these in pockets of our lives. Well, this is my faith life. This is my business life. This is my family life. This is my healthy life. This is whatever that is for you. And we even talk about it in life as the work-life bounce between the two. And you got to ask the question, can you really segment your life, or are you a whole human? As you can already guess, I have an opinion on this. It's very simple. You cannot segment your lives and truly build relationship, build community and authenticity if you're hiding segments of yourself. It's just not authentic. It's not real. And we use those terms over and over again in life, and we've watered them down. But holistic entrepreneurship is all about saying that all parts of my life are significant to my journey of entrepreneurship. If I have a family, that's part of my journey and part of who I am. If family life is going well, then that's going to impact my business life. If things are rough, maybe you lost a family member, or maybe you had a disagreement with a family member, whether it's a spouse or a child or some other relative, then that's going to bleed over to your life and as an entrepreneur. If you are a person of faith, your faith journey will impact your life as an entrepreneur. So this whole concept that we've built in our society that, I do church at church, I do family with family, I do friends with friends, and I do business with business, and none of those mesh is really kind of weird and strange. I'm not even really sure where that started, but it did, and today we have to conquer it. In these standalone episodes, when we use terms, we define them so that we're speaking the same language, we're on the same page, and we're all thinking the same thing. So let's do that right now with holistic entrepreneur. Holistic, characterized by comprehension of the parts of something as intimately interconnected and can only be referenced to the whole. And then entrepreneur. This one is defined so many different ways, but today's definition, we're going to say a person who organizes and operates a business or businesses taking on greater than normal financial risks in order to do so. So, a holistic entrepreneur is somebody that brings their entire life into the entrepreneurial journey. They're a person who does not segment who they are and how they relate to others in pockets. When they are talking business, they're also talking family, they're talking faith, they're talking hobbies, dislikes, likes. For some, that means that they're talking about politics if that's important to them. And often these areas are taboos, but if you're really honest and have good conversations, they shouldn't be taboos. They should be part of your journey, part of the conversation. If you have a family and you're an entrepreneur and you're talking to a colleague, or if you're talking to a client or customer, talking about the family life, if they have family, is relevant. It's part of the conversation. It's relatable. It also endears you to them because they hear your struggles, they hear your successes, you hear theirs. You're doing life together in a transparent and honest way. In the next few minutes, we're going to dive into a couple different segments. It's just going to be one long episode. I'm not going to break it up or anything like that, but we're going to break these into a couple areas that are very delineated from each other. So I'm talking holistic, and now I'm breaking things apart. I know it's ironic, but it's true. The three segments that we're going to tackle right now are why people don't live a holistic life, a holistic entrepreneurship, why you should, and how you can do it. First off, for each person, why you don't live this holistic, open, transparent lifestyle is going to be different for everyone. For some of you listening, you may have a fear that people simply won't care or that they don't want to know. And I have to ask the question, if people don't care, then why would you want to work with them? If you're going to care about them, they should care about you. It's an interchange of value. That currency is compassion. And so often we just think that no one wants to hear my story. They don't want to hear my life. They don't want to be invited in, and I don't want to inconvenience them. So I'm just going to put this on my shelf. I'm going to put on my business hat, and that's how I'm going to show up for this meeting or for this pitch. And that's what we do. Another reason why people don't or won't be this holistic entrepreneur is that maybe they feel that their beliefs or what they stand for might be offensive. to people. And I look at that and I say, well, sometimes being offensive is good because you're standing up for what matters. Sometimes being offensive or your ideas are counterculture and they cause people to rethink. And honestly, sometimes your beliefs or what you stand for just are wrong. You have to wrestle that out in your own life. And we'll get more into that in the other segments. But another reason why people won't and don't want to be a holistic entrepreneur is because they feel like it's not appropriate, that they don't want to welcome people into their life, that they don't want others to see them outside the context of what they know. Here I'm at business. I'm going to keep my business hat on. I don't want you to know. I'm private. And I understand that. There is a level of vulnerability and rawness that you have to open yourself up to. And for some people, that's incredibly scary. Vulnerability is putting yourself out there, knowing that you may be hurt for who you are. Your identity might be challenged. Your beliefs might be challenged. People might not value what you believe or enjoy the fact that you love your family or that you're going through a rough time. And so how do we navigate that? Well, we're going to talk more about that in a moment also. Another reason I hear often why people are segmenting their life and not choosing to be a holistic entrepreneur is simply they don't think that they have anything to offer outside of what they're showing you. And by opening the curtain and showing you more, that you're just going to be like, oh, that's your life, you're boring. Oh, you don't measure up, you're not good enough, or you're just bragging. The truth is that you're really hiding and you're feeling like you don't measure up, which is a whole different issue than actually being boring or not interesting. I can guarantee you I have not met a person who is vulnerable that isn't interesting. Everyone I know that is open and honest, that opens up the door to their heart, to their life, to what's going on, their stories are fascinating. Their views are incredible. And the messages that they have to share beyond the service or product that they're offering through their business becomes much more powerful than the product and service by itself. Before we make a pivot into the next segment of this conversation, I want you to think for a moment. Just maybe even pause this episode and ask yourself this question. Why do I hide myself in different segments of my life? Why am I not willing to be that holistic entrepreneur? What do I have to gain and what do I have to lose when I process this and choose to engage as a holistic entrepreneur? So just take a moment, think about those questions, think about why you may not be a holistic entrepreneur. On the flip side, if you're already doing this, I want you to pause and think about how has this benefited you or your business? How has this benefited your family or your beliefs? How has this helped support you by being a holistic entrepreneur? So go ahead and pause, take a few minutes, and just think about that. Well, welcome back from pausing for a minute and thinking about those questions. Now we're going to talk about why you should live this holistic entrepreneur lifestyle. Okay, so first off, right off the bat, I'm going to say one of the biggest reasons why you should be a holistic entrepreneur. It's very simple. By being honest, by being vulnerable, and by being transparent, you inherently will build trust with the other person. They will feel like you're being open with your life, with how you feel, how you believe, and in that, they will feel like you're not hiding anything, that you're being completely you and showing up in a real way to the conversation. So right off the bat, you build trust and rapport with other people. People want to work with people they trust. They want to work with people that they know. They want to work with people that invite them into that story. So it is a competitive advantage for you to be a holistic entrepreneur. When you do it, you are doing something that often your competitors won't do, and it will unlock places for you to have a relationship with your customer and client at a different level, which will, like I said, make them want to work with you. Another reason is that when you start to walk into relationship at this level, it will build friendships, and that trust will do something even stronger. When you feel a bond to truly love the people you serve, you will serve them better. And by being a holistic entrepreneur, welcoming your clients and shoppers into this journey of friendship, you become engaged with them. And when you truly love someone, when you have compassion for them, and you're doing the best for them to be a part of their story in that holistic entrepreneurship, you will serve them better. You will love them better. You will do the best you can for them because you have a different level of vulnerability with them. This will endear you to your customers and to your shoppers. This will make them feel like, hey, they get me, they see me, they value me. And all of a sudden, that will take your services and products to a new level that will help serve them better. And in this compassion, you're always thinking about the other person. What am I doing that's for the best of them? What can I do that goes the extra mile? How can I really help them in their problem that we're solving through our platform, through our services, through our products? When compassion is played into the holistic entrepreneurship through being vulnerable with each other, there's a responsibility at a deeper level. And this is part of where community really comes into it. When you're compassionate in the vulnerability of a holistic entrepreneurship, you are always trying to do your best for the other. If both parties are doing this, it's even more powerful because now you're both loving well and you want to serve to the best of your ability each other. How great is it that you have customers that are like, we want to be advocates? How great is it for the customer to say they care, see, understand me, and they're taking care of me? So that vulnerability, the holistic entrepreneur, opening that door brings that compassion, friendship, and better service. What it also does is it answers questions that you didn't know you needed answered. Often when we build products and services, we are detached from that process. We think we're doing what the customer wants, what they need, and what they deserve. What we don't know is sometimes those blind spots that we have. By being vulnerable, you'll have conversations that you wouldn't typically have about how your product and service, how your offerings are impacting that customer or client at a deeper level. You'll be able to ask new questions because your questions won't be the surface, just business questions. They'll go into other facets of life, and all of a sudden you'll have new products, new solutions, new offerings, or you'll be able to fix a product or service that isn't truly serving your customers well. When you have the surface conversations or segmented conversations, you won't get into these deeper conversations that will help solve unknown problems to you that your clients, customers, and friends now are facing. So this holistic entrepreneurship really benefits you from that level too. Finally, it challenges us and them to grow. When you walk in vulnerability, they're going to see things in you that maybe are counterproductive to what you're doing as a business. They will give you those suggestions and feedback, and it will cause you to grow. And sometimes that's at a business level. Sometimes it's at a personal level. Sometimes it's at a family level. They may have the answers to your problems that you didn't know, and vice versa. By listening to them, you might be able to solve problems that you don't typically serve or solve through your products and offerings. And sometimes that means you create a new service or a new product if you're a coach or a marketing expert and you're learning unknown things. But often it's just you're serving them in an unexpected way. You're not even charging them for that. But in bringing value to these other areas that you're helping them grow and evolve and change in, they have a commitment to you because you're committed to them. So these are some of the ways, and you can think of more, of why you should live this holistic entrepreneur lifestyle. So take a moment. Let's pause again. I want you to think, how can being a holistic entrepreneur help me? What is it I'm doing right now that's holding me back that I don't even know about, because I've chosen to segment my life. Begin to think about why you should do it. Simon Sinek talks about this. Start with why. What's your why? Why would you want to be a holistic entrepreneur? What would it do for your customers? What would it do for you? Why would it change your life? Why would it change their life? And begin to think about why this would be a benefit to you. Instead of saying vulnerability, the holistic entrepreneur lifestyle is scary, start thinking about how it could change your life for the better and why you would want to do it. Take a moment and think about it. Pause this episode and just maybe even write it down. How would this change me if I do it? How would this change me if I choose to be that holistic entrepreneur? Great. All right. Now you've thought about the first two questions, why people don't do it, maybe why you don't do it. You've thought about that second question, why you should do it and how it would impact you if you did. Now let's talk about how you do it. I could sit here and give you a million how-tos, but we're going to keep it simple. Start out with just simply being you. Be authentic. Be open. Share maybe a story that you wouldn't typically share. Maybe a part of your life that you typically would hide from others. Or start out by opening a safe space. Maybe if you segment your family and your business, maybe start just by sharing with your family how business is going, what's going on, the challenges you have. And then bring that into the workplace or vice versa if you feel more comfortable. Share with the people you're working and serving with a little bit more about your family and let them start having a taste of your holistic entrepreneur lifestyle. You need to be relatable. It's easy to start inviting people into the story and completely alienate them, and that's scary. So you're going to have to do this. It's trial and error and just taking that risk. You're going to be able to know if you're being relatable or not. Don't go on and on. Just short little shares and then allow people to ask more and invite you in, which leads me to another thing. Invite people into your story and engage with their story. Maybe they'll bring something up about, oh yeah, my son's playing in basketball at high school. I'm super excited about it. Ask a question, follow up with it, dig a little bit deeper. They'll share what they're interested in. Just pick up on it and begin to go and ask more questions. You need to start slow, take small steps, and let it grow. One step here, one step there. Go a little bit deeper, and you'll start finding a rhythm and tempo to this in which you will grow into and evolve existing relationships and create new relationships through this. I want to remind you of something that's very significant. This is a two-way street. You're inviting others into your story. You're also engaging with their story. When we think about the holistic entrepreneur, we put it on ourselves and we think it's all about us to begin with often. Well, the truth of it is that being a holistic entrepreneur is about inviting not only others into your story, but becoming part of their story, becoming part of their friend circle and asking questions and being engaged. So remember, this is a two-way street. It's not one-sided. Some people will be super excited about this. I think you'll find more people are than what you would expect. But some people may not want this. So don't push yourself into that. Don't force them into being a part of your story. Don't force yourself into their story. Just begin to touch it lightly. I remember one client we had, they came in and I am very personable in how I relate to customers. It's just what's natural to me. And they wanted some design work, some business cards, some graphic design done for them. And so we start talking and it's two business partners. One of them's just like, I just want you to design this. And it was funny because the questions I was asking of them were to help me get an understanding of who they were so we could design for them. It's just part of the process that we work through. And so we designed for them without knowing them. They loved the design. They used it. They moved on. And the other business partner wanted to be a part of that conversation. And so we continued the dialogue without the partner that was very much gruff and just like, hey, just design it. Well, what was funny is over the next several months as we worked with them, the gruff owner that was there, he began to invite himself into our story and us into his story. We got to know them and do more work with them and became much more friendly. So sometimes those walls are permanent. Sometimes they come down. Most of the time they come down just by being consistent and relatable and consistency is the word that I think of, being consistent in your holistic entrepreneur journey. I would be lying to you if I said this is easy to do. If you've never done it before, it's incredibly scary. You're going to mess it up. You're going to push too hard. You're going to share too much sometimes. You're going to get the rhythm and tempo of this as you do it. And you're going to overcome those fears. It will become more natural to you. It will become more relevant to you as you do it. The big thing is step out and just continue that journey. Learn from your interactions with people. Learn what is and isn't working, where and what I should share. And each person that you interact with, it's going to look a little different. So be alert to the things that they're saying in the areas that you want to go deeper with that relationship. Being a holistic entrepreneur is scary. It is a risk, but it will pay off and it will be beneficial to you. And in the long term, you'll really find that customers turn into friends, sometimes family, sometimes friends who feel like family. And that's awesome because it takes that relationship to a new level, a new commitment to each other, and does amazing things for growing your business, your circle of influence, and the trust that you have. So I encourage you today, as you think about the holistic entrepreneur journey, don't let it be overwhelming. Take those small steps, begin to grow in it, and see how it changes and impacts your life. It's going to be a lot of work. It's going to be scary at times, but it will be worth it in the end. Thanks so much for tuning into today's episode. I hope it's really encouraged you in your journey of entrepreneurship. We want to take a moment and thank today's sponsor, Opportunity in China. Here's a little bit more about them.
At the dawn of the 19th century, forward-thinking people moved to the commercial centers of Europe. Moving into the 20th century, America welcomed millions into the land of freedom and opportunity. It is now the 21st century. Many of the successes and fortunes of our generations will be made in China. To learn how you can seize opportunity in China, follow the Opportunity in China podcast. The Opportunity in China podcast is available anywhere podcasts are streamed, or you can visit our website at opportunityinchina.com.
Thanks again for tuning into today's episode. It's always an honor to have you listening to these episodes. If you haven't already, make sure you head on over to your favorite place to listen to podcasts and click that subscribe button. Now, it's your turn to take these ideas and your dreams and turn them into reality. You have the power to take small or big steps and begin to change the world around you. So get out there today. Think about what you were created to do, what you feel is your burning passion and your very core of your created purpose. Begin to make those steps. Begin to change the life that you have and paint the picture you want to paint for this world. Ultimately, it's by doing these small steps that all of us change our families, we change our communities, our cities, and ultimately the nation. If we all were walking in our created purpose, think of how different this world would be. So get out there, do your part, and begin to change the world around you through chasing your big ideas and dreams.
Les mères de famille, les enfants, peuvent également prendre un moment revitalisant. Dans quelques mois, lorsque vous aurez bien saisi la technique et que vous serez maître de votre corps, vous pourrez vous décontracter même en travaillant.